As a musician, I've observed many of my peers enjoy drinking, especially before going on stage. They provide various explanations for this behavior. Some say getting a little bit tipsy helps them calm the nerves. Others believe it improves their abilities to improvise and connect with the audience. Additionally, there have been many reports of rock stars using illicit substances, believing that it can put them in the right state of mind or enhance their creativity. However, putting aside the potential health risks, the question remains, does alcohol and drug use really enhance rock performances as they believe? As a musician with a background in biology, I conducted a research project while studying music education at UCL to explore this topic. Surprisingly, there isn't much direct research on the effect of alcohol and drugs, specifically on rock performances. So I analyzed a large number of academic papers from various disciplines, summarizing their key findings. I also made sure to include the most recent studies before making this video. In total, I reviewed and combined insights from 124 research papers. Before we start, I must emphasize that this video isn't about endorsing alcohol or substance use. Instead, it aims to explore existing knowledge and critically examine whether drinking or using substances truly enhances rock performances. Let's begin by examining a frequently reported effect of alcohol and drug use among musicians in general: the reduction of music performance anxiety. Music performance anxiety is characterized by a combination of affective, cognitive, somatic, and behavioral symptoms. It may occur in various performance settings and affects musicians of all ages and experience levels. Even rock stars, who are often seen as uninhibited, can struggle with performance anxiety. For example, Eddie Van Halen and Ozzy Osbourne reportedly battled stage fright throughout their careers. Compared to classical musicians, popular musicians generally experience less performance anxiety. This could be because rock shows are often more relaxed and informal compared to formal settings faced by classical musicians. The collaborative nature of rock music also reduces the pressure of solo performance that often intensifies MPA. However, a study conducted in 2015 found that popular musicians aged 16 to 20 scored higher in MPA compared to their counterparts in classical genres, suggesting the influence of age-related factors or other variables among young popular musicians. Rock musicians aren't typically the focus of MPA studies, but they often turn to alcohol or other substances instead of seeking prescription drugs or counseling. It's also worth noting that substance use among rock musicians, especially some older generation rock stars, isn't solely aimed at performance enhancement, but may be connected to a lifestyle associated with alcohol and drugs. In this section, I will specifically focus on the use of alcohol and drugs to enhance rock performances. To shed light on this topic, I've compiled self-perceived benefits of alcohol and drug use reported in relevant studies among rock musicians. I will analyze each benefit and provide supporting evidence from academic research. Many believe that consuming these substances helps them overcome inhibitions during performances. Rock music is characterized by loud volumes, rebellious attitude, and high energy. This often requires performers to display great extraversion to create an infectious atmosphere. While some studies show inconsistent results, a large body of research has documented alcohol's tendency to facilitate disinhibition. However, some suggest drunken behavior is more influenced by societal norms than the pharmacological effect of alcohol. Some have also shown that even alcohol-related cues like words or images can induce social disinhibition. In other words, not only the act of drinking alcohol, but even mere thought of it can be helpful to rock musicians. The second self-perceived benefit of alcohol is to enhance concentration by reducing distractions from the audience. This is particularly relevant when performing in less crowded venues where the audience may be sparse and not fully engaged. I can personally relate to this. It takes a lot of efforts to overcome this situation and deliver the best show. Many studies have shown that alcohol intoxication impairs peripheral vision but not the central task. This effect has been explained by the alcohol myopia theory. In simple terms, intoxicated people are more likely to focus on the primary task due to narrowed attention. So if the unresponsive audience is a peripheral task while performing is the central focus, it seems plausible that alcohol can enhance concentration. On the other hand, Gunnar Road describes this as a form of self-deception, a way for musicians to cope with a disappointing gig while still experiencing the glory of rock and roll. This aligns with West's suggestion that alcohol can dull the senses. However, if drinking genuinely helps musicians deal with harsh realities that many rock bands face in their early careers, it could be seen as a valid coping mechanism rather than passively enduring a difficult performance. Many musicians believe that drinking together strengthens camaraderie among band members. Building a sense of unity and shared emotions, like being a family with shared mood, is crucial for bands to perform together. Research shows that moderate drinking can facilitate social bonding, so it's common for musicians to come together and enjoy a drink to foster friendship. In Gunnaro's study, one participant emphasized that the lack of communal drinking could indicate underlying issues with the band. This would potentially impair the interactions between band members on stage. One of the most desired benefits of substance use is perceived enhancement of creativity. This belief extends beyond artists and applies to various professions, including entrepreneurs and scientists. Even Steve Jobs claimed that cannabis use enhanced his creativity. If this claim were true, it could potentially aid not only songwriting but also on-stage improvisation. However, studies have produced inconsistent results. Koval and colleagues found that low-dose cannabis has no effect on creativity, while high potency impairs divergent thinking. In a biographical analysis of Jim Morrison, there was no evidence indicating that alcohol and drugs enhanced his creativity. Ludwig examined 34 renowned artists' biographies. He found that 75 experienced a decrease in productivity, particularly during the later stage of their drinking careers. On the other hand, Jarrell's conflation widely discovered that participants moderately intoxicated with alcohol performed better in remote associates test. Nolander and Gustafson conducted multiple experiments based on Wallace's four-stage model of creative process, which is preparation, incubation, illumination, and verification. They found alcohol enhances creativity in incubation and illumination stages, but hampers preparation and has no effect on verification. Some scholars have also mentioned that drug effects on creativity can be either direct or indirect. A study conducted in 2016 reviewed 19 studies of creativity and psychoactive substance use, suggesting that substances may indirectly amplify sensitivity and loosen conscious processes that impact creative thinking. This could be due to alterations in sensory perception or an increase in mind wandering, contributing to the unique flavor of a creative artwork. The most recent study I found investigated 300 cannabis users in Washington state where recreational cannabis use is legal. This study found that participants who were high on cannabis reported feeling happier and believed both their own and others' ideas to be more creative. However, when external judges evaluated the ideas generated by high participants and sober ones, they didn't find any difference in the actual creativity. In other words, cannabis use influenced the perception of creativity by increasing joviality, but did not improve the abilities to produce objectively creative ideas. While rock musicians are highly skilled in crafting music, they are well aware of the downsides of alcohol and drugs. Many recognize the negative impact it can have on their own performance or others. One common issue reported is how alcohol affects motor control and hand-eye coordination. Numerous studies have shown that alcohol, especially in high amounts, impairs visual-spatial skills and psychomotor speed. Similarly, cannabis has been found to have adverse effects on motor coordination. These findings are particularly relevant to instrumentalists, especially lead guitarists. If you want to stay on point while playing solo, it's a good idea to think twice before drinking or using substances. Another issue is how alcohol or cannabis messes with your short-term memory. A substantial number of studies have confirmed this. Unlike classical musicians who rely on notation, popular musicians rely on years and memorization skills. Disruption of memory can significantly impair the quality of a rock show. Gross found cases where musicians forgot what they had rehearsed under cannabis intoxication. So it's best for all musicians to avoid drinking or substance use during rehearsal, especially when practicing new songs. A few individuals have also mentioned that cocaine can interfere with musicians' sense of rhythm, especially for instrumentalists, like drummers, who play a crucial role in maintaining the rhythm structure. While more research is needed to fully understand this claim, it's important to emphasize the severe and irreversible health problems associated with cocaine and other illegal drugs. For instance, cocaine use can lead to arrhythmia and sudden cardiac death. Furthermore, combining substances can amplify the harmful effects. Mixing cocaine and alcohol, for example, can result in liver diseases and increase the likelihood of engaging in violent behaviors. It's well known that many rock stars, including Janis Joplin and Kurt Cobain, experienced fatal accidents or mental health issues directly or indirectly linked to substance use. Unfortunately, Forsyth and colleagues found that health concerns don't often motivate musicians to change their drinking habits, so it's crucial to raise further awareness. As Rick Wakeman once concluded, "Dead musicians can't make music. I hope we can keep music live." Rock musicians are well aware of these problems, and many of them actively take steps to avoid serious consequences. Some establish clear rules like having a no drugs policy or setting limits on the number of drinks before performance. Others emphasize personal responsibility, urging musicians to control their indulgence, respect the audience, and maintain a professional reputation. However, several factors seem to undermine their efforts. Firstly, the music industry exposed bands to drugs, especially alcohol, in a pervasive manner. Many rock shows take place in licensed venues where free alcohol is often provided as part of the payment. At music festivals or stadium concerts, free alcohol remains prevalent as many sponsors are beer companies. Additionally, fans sometimes offer drinks to bands, so when musicians feel stressful, bored, or simply thirsty, a bottle of beer is often readily available. Furthermore, drinking serves as a primary means for bands to socialize with other musicians, fans, agents, and event organizers. According to Forsyth and colleagues, rock musicians have higher exposure to alcohol compared to even bartenders. Moreover, being part of a local level band can be a stressful occupation. The pressure of recording, touring, irregular hours, and uncertain bookings can all contribute to significant stress. It has long been recognized that artists often turn to drinking, smoking, or other substances as a means of relaxing or escape from the challenges they face. Scholars have also posed a question: whose responsibility is it? It's difficult to rely on venue managers or sponsors to change the intoxicating work environment, since venues have a legitimate goal of increasing alcohol sales. On the other hand, providing more alcohol-free performance spaces may lead to reduced enjoyment and lower attendance, given the strong association between alcohol and live music. So, are rock musicians left to navigate this drunk-attainment industry on their own? In his work, West offers detailed advice to performing artists regarding drug use, such as drinking alcohol in moderation but avoid intoxication while performing. He also suggests using caffeine to remain alertness if needed. Based on our previous discussion, it's also reasonable to suggest avoiding the simultaneous use of different drugs, and of course, stay away from illicit drugs, not only because they are illegal, but because they pose the greatest threat to the human body and are highly addictive. However, as West has pointed out, it's easier to advise than to follow. Given the significant influence of rock culture on the behavior of young people, the strong association between rock performances and drug use may not be beneficial for aspiring musicians aiming to become future rock stars. Instead of solely relying on rock bands to find their own way, it's worthwhile to consider integrating drug-related trainings into school music curricula. This will allow musicians to gain knowledge of the hazards of intoxicating work environments, drug effects, signs of addiction, and peer intervention tactics. After all, rock musicians are not the only group that turns to alcohol or other substances when dealing with occupational stressors. Furthermore, since most popular musicians learn in informal settings, it's equally important for musicians' representative organizations to provide drug-related counseling services. Finally, let's take a moment to reflect on the complex relationship between alcohol and music performance. While academic research doesn't provide conclusive results, it does remind us of the intricate connection between artistic expression, personal well-being, and the pursuit of musical greatness. As musicians, it's crucial for us to thoughtfully consider consider the potential risks and downsides of alcohol or substance use, making informed decisions that prioritize our well-being and artistic expression. Thank you for watching. I hope you find this information valuable. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. If you have any questions or feedback, please leave a comment below. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.